There it is, Phillies fans. Kyle Schwarber is back 5 years, $150 million. That's an AAV of 30 mil per season. And I'm not surprised. If you follow this channel long enough, you know that I've been saying time and time and time again that I had a better chance of being on the Phillies next season than Kyle Schwarber not being on the Phillies next year. That's how confident I was that this man would be back in pinstripes, not just for what he adds on the field, but for what he adds off the field as well. I think baseball is the ultimate vibes sport. I think that these guys are around each other constantly, and all you ever hear out of the Phillies locker room is how important Kyle Schwarber is to the chemistry of the team. This is also a man, though, that on the field in his Phillies tenure has averaged 47 home runs a year, and that is power that you do not come by. You think about it, okay, well, 5 years, he's, 33 years old right now. At the end of the contract, he'll be 38. Will there be a drop-off? He's a DH. There's not going to be a lot of wear and tear on the body. And if there is a drop-off, what is the drop-off? Is the drop-off he's hitting 30 home runs, getting paid $30 million? Okay. Because I think in 5 years, that'll probably be close to the norm if a salary cap isn't implemented. Now, this is all contingent on that. I remember when Bryce Harper signed his massive 13-year contract and the AAV was 25 mil, I said at the time, that's a steal. Because in 2 years, that contract's going to be one of the, top 30 in baseball. In 5 years, it might not even be the top 50. And you look now and, decent players are getting 25 mil, but they're not at Bryce Harper level. You saw what happened with Zach Wheeler. He's getting paid 40 million, like 41 maybe, 42, whatever it is. So the salaries have completely gone up, where I'm not worried that in 5 years you're going to go, oh my God, this contract is so bad. Like even Nick Castellanos is $20 million. They'll be able to get her out of that. But if they're stuck with $20 million from Nick Castellanos, okay, that's what happens. That's really the only bad contract I can think of where you go, the production isn't even coming close to what he's getting paid. But when you look around baseball, because of the fact there's no salary cap, there's a lot of contracts where you go oh God, that's rough. I don't see Kyle Schwarber's in 5 years being one of those because I don't see that the power drop off is going to be that dramatic where you go, holy God, this is bad. They're paying him $30 million to hit 20 home runs. I just don't see it. I don't see that happening. The other move that got made today was Rob Thompson signed a 1-year extension. I'm not a huge fan of that move. But then again, I was somebody that wanted them to move on from Rob Thompson after the last postseason, where I thought that a lot of his moves were just the wrong move. I thought they needed a change, but Rob Thompson is really well liked in the locker room. He's well liked by the players. I just kind of viewed, at this point, Rob Thompson a little bit like Brett Brown, where when there was no pressure, okay, he wins and it's great. But when there's pressure, i.e. we're spending a ton of money, we're going out and getting top-level free agents like a Trey Turner. There's expectations there. He's come up short. I didn't think Dave Roberts did a great job either. Dave Roberts ends up winning the World Series, but I thought Rob Thompson's decision-making in the NLDS drastically cost the Phillies. But I think the next domino that you'll see fall is JT Realmuto back, and the reason I've said it before, and I'll say it again, I'll repeat it on here, the fact that they did not really give Rafael Marchand a chance to establish himself as anything. I think he had 120, 30 at-bats, if that. The fact that they do not have a future catcher, they traded him, Eduardo Tait, in the deal to get Jhoan Duran. And most importantly, they've talked glowingly about the fact that the staff is very, very comfortable with JT Realmuto. I give a lot of credit to Caleb Cotham for the progression of guys like Jesus Luzardo and guys like Christopher Sanchez and guys like Ranger Suarez. I'm sure the Phillies, though, would point to JT Realmuto and say, yeah, but you got to give him credit as well for what he's been able to do with some of these younger pitchers and bringing them on. And when you have a guy like Andrew Painter coming up, who is, I think 23, he's expected to be here, if not next season, at the latest the year after. Don't you want a guy like JT Realmuto with him behind the dish, helping him out and helping him into, becoming a major league pitcher? But also, you could do a lot worse than JT Realmuto with a bat as a catcher. I think Rob Thompson has driven him into the ground, and I've talked about that a few times, just with how much he plays him behind the dish. And I think it's hurt his production at the plate. But still, even with the hurt production at the plate, if you give me a really, really good defensive catcher that my pitching staff is very comfortable with, and he's going to hit 240 and he'll hit 15 to 20 home runs, like steal 10, 15 bases, like I'll take that. I'll gladly take that. I would see him getting anywhere from 20 to 23 to stick around. I think they're probably going to have to pay a little bit more to keep the years down. So I wouldn't sign him for more than a 3-year deal, maybe with like a club option. But I think he's the next guy to drop. And then after that, I'm not sure, but they need outfield help. But haven't overly. I think though the $30 million, you look back and you go, man, Dave Dombrowski really fumbled this because he clearly tried to get Kyle Schwarber on a discount coming off of a 30, I think he had 37 or 38 home runs in 2024. And he clearly tried to sign him to a discount. The agent didn't go for it. And he was like, all right, go prove it. And then every home run bumped it up. So I think the Phillies probably, if Dombrowski didn't fumble this, probably could have saved $5 million a year. But at the end of the day, like, okay, they didn't pay $40 million for him. I like the contract. I like the length of the contract. And more importantly, I like what this does for the Phillies in their clubhouse, i.e. getting a guy back that is just that magnet for positivity and a guy that everybody enjoys coming to work and seeing on a day in, day out basis, and the glue in that locker room. Again, I think baseball, because these guys are around so much, the ultimate sport where you need a guy like that. When you get that and the production at the plate, this is a no-brainer. I'm excited to see, though, what other moves are going to come down the pipeline with the winter meetings. It was kind of cute how, the Mets are involved. Man, I wonder who floated that rumor out there. Probably Kyle Schwarber's agent. But all roads led back to Philly, whether it be Cincinnati, whether it be the Pirates offering a contract all of a sudden. Like, didn't matter. And at the end of the day, I think Kyle Schwarber being back was the most obvious move out of all the moves of the Phillies offseason. And now you look at, if he was the 1A, you look at the 1B being JT Realmuto. He'll be the next domino. After that, I don't know. Please subscribe. Subscribing is cool. A lot of people are doing it, and people are having positive impacts on their lives by subscribing to this channel. Please. Thumbs up, thumbs down, comment what you think of the contract. If you think it's a bad contract, good contract. And then my thoughts on JT Realmuto, if you agree with that or not, and then what you think the next move should be. Go Phillies.